Well, hello. I'd like to welcome everyone back to gingergm.com, basically, and thank you those who are now watching my videos again. I'm sorry about the delay in posts and the rest of it. Basically, it's been a combination of a number of things, but I've really been, the main thing has been, I've been waiting for this new website, which you're now probably watching this video on. First of all, I'd like to thank Simon Ansell for creating the new website. Brilliant website. Everything's looking very good. Very exciting times for us. We've got more authors and presenters and basically people writing for us. We're going to have lots more DVDs coming out shortly and plenty of content in the pipeline. So exciting times, and I hope you can keep watching and viewing and plugging into GingerGM and leaving your comments so we can basically get back to you and keep our audience going. Now, I wanted to do a video of a game that I played recently. This was played in the European Club Championships in Rhodes 2013, only a week or so ago now. My chess has been pretty bad of late, but this game gave me quite a lot of confidence and help because basically I think I kind of improved on what the computers think. And so it's a very interesting game. I mean, if you run this game through the computers, it will say that my initial sacrifice is not sound at all. And even 5 moves later on, it will say that's an unsound sacrifice. But I'm not entirely sure I even believe this this opinion. So maybe this game sort of shows that there's still room to confuse those horrible computers and play in an interesting way. It's a very interesting rook sacrifice, very interesting attack, and probably quite a nice game in the end. Probably one of the nicest games I've played in the last couple of years. And it still gives me hope I can maybe achieve some, get my rating back anyway. So my opponent was a grandmaster from Denmark, Rasmussen, and I had the black pieces here, and the game started d4, knight to f6. So I'm giving the Dutch a little break at the moment, just because I'm experimenting with other setups. Don't worry, I will be coming back to the Dutch soon. Don't fear. And now it went. We'll go through the opening quite quickly. This is all pretty standard stuff. And now my opponent played castles. I consider this to be a mistake because it allows me to build a very strong centre, as we can see. And already I was very comfortable in this position. I have good development, strong centre, and his king side now is lacking a lot of protection because he has most of his pieces bunched up on the queen side. So I can have potential to attack his king side at a later moment. E3 probably has to be played, otherwise this pawn's going to be too strong, gives me a free hand. And now bishop to g4 was a good move, just forcing f3. Bishop dropped back, and we reach this position, which is a pretty critical position. Now, I'd say black's better here, but white does have some potential here, due to his bishop on g2, and some possible chances of attack on the queen side. On the other hand, my d-pawn's very strong, and he's lacking his protection around his king. There were a number of tempting ideas here, but I just played a simple bishop to e7. No need to get fancy quite yet. c4's on pre, he went knight to a3, and now queen to d7. I wanted to stop him playing the typical Dutch move f5, and just get ready to put a rook on d8. My opponent played rook to e1, and now I played a very interesting idea here. A very natural move here would just be castle's king side. Instead, I played bishop to g4, which enters some crazily complicated position here. And to be honest, I didn't see his next idea of, well, I saw his next move, knight to c5, and this is when I sunk into a very deep think. And what I had missed here is that after queen to f5, as we see in the game, he has knight takes b7. A very crafty tactic. And this is probably one of the longest times I've considered the position in a game of chess here. I probably fought for about 45 minutes in this position. Now, it's clear if I take the queen after a couple of captures, white's very comfortable. White can only be better due to his bishop. We don't want to take the queens off. Now, I saw I could play queen to c8 here, which looked fairly okay for me. He can play something like queen here, castles, and we get some position like this, which I expect I might even be better. But I now saw a very interesting possibility, and this is where I just fought for half an hour. I just fought for any way to make the possibility work. And now I'm basing this really on an instinct and the idea that most of his pieces, after capturing lots of my queen side, are going to be placed on the queen side. In the meantime, I'm going to have my pieces coming towards his king, and his king is bare. So I now calculated what I think is probably one of the best ideas I've ever had, queen to f5. Now this involves a sacrifice of rook and a pawn for a very big attack on his king, but it's quite strange just how difficult his position becomes. Now we enter a forced sequence of knight takes b7, and this is where he's threatening a very crafty, let's say I take his queen, knight to d6 check, and he's winning this position. So after knight takes b7, I just castle kingside. There's no going back now. Queen to a4, and now bishop to b4, rook to f1. And I say this is the second critical moment, and this is where I had to have a very strong idea after playing the move queen to f5. Because if I'm very lax here, I'm just going to lose, because my knight's on pre, on c6. If I move this knight, my bishop on b4 is going to drop. So I'm kind of all in this position. And I came up with what I think is a very interesting idea, and this is what I saw when I played queen to f5. Rook to c8. I'm basing this on another sacrifice. The idea behind his sacrifice is I'm just trying to eliminate the pieces around his king. He only has two pieces around his king, his bishop and his rook. I don't mind sacrificing my pieces on the queen's side, especially these two pieces, to get rid of his pieces on the king's side, because then his king becomes bare. He's also very tied up, so the point of this move is after bishop takes c6, I capture this bishop, and now he goes queen takes c6, queen takes b4, runs into bishop to h3, which is very strong for black. And this is another critical position. Let's just take stock here. He's a rook and a pawn up, but he's really in nearly a position of zhushwang. And this is one thing I'm really playing on for the rest of the game. He can't move his bishop on c1, therefore he can't move his rook on a1. So in actual fact, I could say I'm material up. His knight on b7 can't move very easily, and his king is very bare. So this is very good compensation. I've loaded this now with bishop to e2. He played queen to b5. The computer actually suggests rook to f2, and even here, in some of the computers I've been running on, say this is winning for white, which I'd find quite unbelievable, because we get a very amusing position after the strong queen to d3, something like queen to g2, the computer suggestion, and now just rook to e8. And let's have a look. What can he move here? Okay, he's a rook and a pawn up, but he can't move any of his pieces. Unbelievable position. The only kind of move he really has is something like knight to b1 or knight to b5. He can't move his knight on b7, can't move his bishop on c1. Even though he's a rook and a pawn up, he's pretty much in zhushwang. He can only move his pawns. And after something like h3, I can win fairly simply with bishop to e1. He can try moving his knight back in the game now, but it's too late, because I just play something like rook to e6 with bishop to f3 to follow, winning. Very simple chess. So I think he's completely lost here. And try this at home if you want to. Try running this on your computer, see what the computer says. It totally misassesses the position. He tried queen to b5, and now I've got to keep queens on the board. Queen to e4. And the point behind this is if he takes my bishop, I take on f1. He has two choices. If he tries to bring his queen back around, I just go bishop to h3, and knight checkmates to follow. If he takes my bishop on f1, well, I now get a checkmate attack. Let's just give you a potential line here. His king is too weak, and my remaining three pieces, amazing just to see how well these three pieces work together. I mean, look at this for a checkmate. They just work so well together. So he tried to swap queens off, and now queen d3. Rook to f2, and now I saw one winning idea. Knight to e4 is also very strong here. But I think rook to e8 is just as strong. Even this position, the computers originally say, he played queen to b5 here. The computers originally say that white's doing fine after the queen sacrifice, leading to this position. Again, this is an assessment I completely disagree with. Here, let's look at white's pieces again. They can't move. White can't move any of his pieces. Even though he's a piece up, my plan was just to play simple h5, freeing my back rank, preparing knight to g4, preparing h4, and I think white can resign. So very strange this game, very strange game. So my opponent saw this, and he played queen to b5. Now the only slight regret I have in this game is I had 10 minutes left here after spending so much on the queen to f5. My initial thought was to go for the tactics involving queen to d1 check, and I'll show you this beautiful line in a minute. I bailed out and I played bishop to e1, which is completely winning, but it would have been maybe one of my best ever games if I had finished the game with a series of checks. I can win now quite beautifully with queen to d1 check, king here, bishop to f3 check. Now this is a possibility that I saw. The idea is after rook takes, I go rook to e2 check. He can't go king to h3 because of queen to h1, which is completely winning. He has to go rook to f2, and during the game I got as far as this position coming up, and I even saw here, and during the game I had the instinct again that I was winning, but my time was a bit too short and I couldn't see the win. Now the computer points out here I've checkmated 9 moves. Beautiful checkmate. Only I played this, it would have been an absolutely really nice finish. Here check. He can't go to g1 because I have mate with here, so he's forced to go to h3, and now the computer gives the line queen check, king g4, knight check, king to h4, and now we slowly close in on his king, bishop to e7, a wonderful move, knight to e4, another wonderful move, and now his king gets chased all the way to h6, queen to h4, checkmate. Now that would have been a very fun finish. Okay, the way it finished in the game was also very pleasant. Bishop to e1, completely winning. He tried to bring his queen back around, but now I simply take and move my queen back to e4. All his pieces again are out of the game. Bishop to e2, too late. d3, nice move, stopping his queen coming to f3. And the game requires little comment now, as long as I'm careful. I saw an opportunity to sacrifice a knight on g3, so I took it. Obviously other options, other ways to win. Knight takes g3. He can't take this knight because it leads to checkmate. So he tried queen to d5, but now my knight elegantly pops back into e4, threatening queen to f2, queen to g4, and actually in this position he lost some time. With a very, should I say, shocked look on his face. I don't blame him actually. I mean, I was pretty shocked. I mean, I don't know really. I tried to calculate the best I could, but it was a very interesting game. So I suppose that's one of the only glimmers I've had recently of of really good attacking chess. I've had some pretty appalling games as well. I'll show you them at some point, but I thought I'd start with a nice win. Like I said, I'm going to try to be posting lots more videos, lots more comments. We have Danny Gormali doing some stuff for us, some other writers coming in, and we have some very exciting times ahead. So please leave comments on the website. This is what it's going to make us create more videos. The more comments we have, the more videos, free videos we create, and I look forward to viewing them. And thank you very much for watching this video. Interesting game, I'm sure you'll agree, and hopefully you'll be coming back to Ginger GM let's say for the next week or so at least. Okay, cheers for now, bye.